Hi there, I'm Rex King, and this is Monday Night Movie, a new series where I look at films that have been released on Blu ray and DVD. In this series, I'll be looking at films that have been released for a little bit, and I want to talk about them. I felt that was a little self explanatory, but still, just in case. I'll also be talking a little bit about how they were made, just to give you guys a little bit more background and just some general trivia that I find interesting. So, I will also be talking about some spoiler stuff in most of these reviews. Most of these films have been out for a little bit, so you should be able to know what happens in them already. But if you don't, you might want to click off this series and watch other reviews that are not going to have spoilers. But I want to let you all know that I feel like if I'm going to talk about films more in depth, then I'm going to probably need to talk about the ending of most movies I review on this series. So, spoiler warning for this entire series. Now, let's dive right in to 51st Dates. 51st Dates was directed by Peter Siegel and stars Adam Sandler as Henry Roth, a bachelor who in Hawaii who doesn't really want to get tied down. He doesn't really want a permanent relationship of any type. Now, this all changes when he meets Lucy, played by Drew Barrymore, and he instantly falls for her hard. Like, he's almost love at first sight, and he just can't get over her. However, he finds out due to an accident she had about a year prior to her meeting him, she has lost her entire short term memory. Now, this film, um, like I said before, is directed by Peter Siegel. He directed Anger Management. In fact, he went straight from Anger Management to this film. I think he didn't almost had like 2 days off apparently before he decided to do this film with Adam. Um, and then so it was also supposed to be a melodrama at first, but Adam Sandler and Peter Siegel just didn't like the feel of the movie and didn't think it would really work. So they turned it into a romantic comedy. They still kept some drama bits from the original script, but they decided a romantic comedy was more what they wanted to do with this story. Now, I personally would have gone the more melodramatic route, but I do see why they made this a romantic comedy. It was also apparently supposed to be shot in Seattle, but they decided to switch the location to Hawaii. This is fine. I think either or location would have worked just fine for what they wanted to do. Now, it was also changed from 51st Kisses to 51st Dates. Apparently, the word kisses didn't sit well with male audience members in their test audience. Why? Okay, sure. Sure. Anyway, the movie was released on February 13th, 2004. It did considerably well at the box office, beating out Barbershop 2 to win the weekend. It was Barbershop 2, so that probably wasn't so difficult, but it's still impressive, I guess. Meanwhile, critics were a little hard on the film. They thought there was too much reliance on gross out humor, and it wasn't dramatic enough for what they felt like the film was going for. I completely disagree with that. I feel like this film hits every moment it needs to hit. It is funny when it needs to be funny. It is dramatic when it needs to be dramatic. And when I say that, I mean there is moments where this film could have shied away from the dramatic moments for a more Hollywood effect. Meaning, when it comes to these types of films, I expect them to magically solve the situation or make it so everything just kind of fixes itself. But that doesn't happen in this movie. They have to struggle with Lucy not remembering every day. And you can tell that they care for this character, that people around her really want to make her life easy, but you can tell they're having difficulties and how this is affecting their lives. Meanwhile, you have Henry, who wants to make her life more enjoyable. Even though she's not really going to remember it, he feels like he can make it so that not every day is the exact same for her and make it so she can still enjoy life a little bit. Now, there is some weak points. Um, I felt like the character of Lucy wasn't as well written as she could have been, but to be fair, she. How do I put this? What I mean by that is there were moments I wish we could go more into the character's soul, for lack of a better term. Like, see how this is affecting her personally. We get a couple really good scenes of her clearly struggling with this revelation that she cannot remember every day. The first time she finds out, you can feel how much this hurts her to find out that she is struggling to remember every day and is not able to realize that time has passed since her accident. And I do appreciate those moments. I just felt like there should have been a little bit more of them. Mind you, that is a nitpick, because what we get is, again, really good. And I didn't really need the movie to be fully melodramatic in those moments, especially when there was a decent amount of comedy to offset them. And I really did enjoy the comedy, like I said earlier. I feel like there was a decent amount of it, and the way it was done was still in respect to the characters and the story as a whole. They don't make light of Lucy's situation, which is something I thought they might do, but they do have some funny scenes around him making her fall in love with him every day. And it's great, those scenes. Like, there's a scene where his best friend has to pretend to beat him up, and in return, the best friend gets beaten up with a bat, which is hilarious. Um, Another character I liked in the story was there's this older gentleman at the cafe, and he's just sarcastic as all hell and has probably the best lines in the movie by far. There was a point that he just was not in the rest of the film, and that was when the film was starting to be more of a drama, and I kind of missed him, but I kind of understood why he wasn't in the film at that point. Dan Aykroyd also makes an appearance in this film, and as always, he's superb. Now, he's not as funny as he is in stuff like Ghostbusters or the Blues Brothers, but he is good in this movie, even though it's more of a straight role, more of a serious part for him. He does get a few laughs, don't get me wrong, but this is more reserved for him. This film could have been terrible, especially when it came to the ending. I was really worried they were going to have it magically fixed, that she was going to somehow remember everything. And they didn't do that, and I was surprised. I really thought they were going to go down the route of, oh, She can remember everything now. Instead, she doesn't. At the end of the film, she wakes up and does not remember that it's a different day. She has to watch a videotape to be reminded that she's now married, she has a kid, and they're in Alaska. And the shock on her face is spectacular. Those moments are well done, and I'm glad that she doesn't just magically get over her illness, because it really would have been such a letdown for a film that had hit every note at that point. Guys, at the end of the day, I give this film an 8. Now, another thing I'm going to be doing on this series is talking about the special features and whether or not it's a worthy addition to your collection. Well, if it's an 8, I do believe you should watch it. The question only becomes, should you buy it? And according to the special features, if I remember correctly, we have an actor and director's commentary, which was pretty good. It features Drew Barrymore and the director Peter Siegel. It's really good. There was some great moments that they went over, and there is some good trivia bits that I didn't really get to cover in this video. There's a gag reel. The film's already hilarious, so a gag reel's also hilarious. And a featurette called The Talkin' Pigeon. It's fine. There are better featurettes, but honestly, the star of this Blu-ray is the commentary. I loved it. The commentary's probably also on the DVD. I haven't seen the DVD copy, so I can't say that for a fact. So if you really don't want to buy a Blu-ray for it, I guess you could buy the DVD copy. There's no scenes in here where I can say, oh, that needs to be seen on Blu-ray, or oh, you're not going to see this if it's not in high definition. You can probably buy a DVD and be fine. I personally am very glad I have the Blu-ray, and I really enjoy this film, and I enjoy watching it now and again, and I look forward to watching it again sometime. Guys, that was my review of 50 First Dates, and next time I have a different film to watch. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. See you next time.